Hello everyone, my name is Keith. I'm going to be doing an informational video or a public safety announcement regarding an individual online that has been causing a lot of people trouble. This individual has done some extremely malicious things and illegal things, and I want to really show people what happened to me about this individual and what he did to me, just so that this kind of stuff doesn't happen to other people, and maybe the individuals that are supporting him realize what kind of person he really is so that they discontinue supporting him, because this guy really just needs to leave at the end of the day, and I'd like him to, just so that I can clear the air and let people know what's going on. And the individual I am referring to, as the title showcases, is Lord Tyler. Lord Tyler is a community owner for Gary's Mod, and he has owned previous communities known as Kraken Gaming and currently Hammerfall Gaming, as well as Hammerfall Gaming in the past. I want to quickly disclaim that this is going to be I'm just going to say that there's going to be like Gary's Mod drama showcased in this video. And to a lot of people who are unfamiliar with myself, the owner of Claymore Gaming, as well as Tyler, Lord Tyler, the owner of Kraken and Hammerfall, this may seem incredibly menial, dramatic, and at the end of the day, cringy. So if by all means, I'm going to disclaim that it may appear that way to an outsider. But if you are familiar with the situation, or you are even interested in the situation, I will support you to continue listening, so that maybe you can help make change and get this guy the fuck out of here. Really. So anyway, as I said, I am a Gary's Mod community owner. I own a server that is called Claymore Gaming Fallout Incursion 2.2 as of this moment on the 14th of December 2018. And we interacted with Lord Tyler about a year ago, when our server was a bit more of an earlier version than it currently is. We run a Fallout recreational game mode within the Gary's Mod Steam game. Now, we first interacted with Lord Tyler, who had a reputation for being a NutScript developer, but also a malicious one at that, about a year ago, as I said. And he introduced himself as an individual who was willing to assist within the development of our server, right? And that was the first introduction that we ever had of him, right? He introduced himself as a player, basically, and he said, "Hey, so I see that you have a lot of systems and features in your game mode via the NutScript game mode, and we have I have some criticism that may help you improve your game mode security." Initially, we introduced ourselves poorly. We thought he was somebody else accidentally. We just thought he was another Tyler that we had a kind of a bad rap with at the time. So we kind of just ignored him. We later realized that this was not true, and we corrected that, introduced ourselves properly. And at first, it appeared that Lord Tyler, despite his prior reputation for being somewhat malicious, had decent intention. He wanted to improve the security of our game mode and make it essentially better. And we were all on board. We began hearing him out, and he provided essentially just minor, very vague at that, criticism regarding our game mode. And we listened, and we just thumbs up, and we looked into some of his tips, basically. And this was the introduction of Lord Tyler. He first introduced himself as a player and a NutScript developer that wanted to help, and we were on board. Now, before I continue, I want to say that there are two reasons I'm talking about this. There are two pictures that I'm going to quickly bring up on screen. The first one right here is a picture and a chat log. Now, I understand that this is a copy-paste. If you don't want to believe this, you don't fucking need to, but I know this is real based on the person that sent me it. Spike Spigel, however you say it, is the community manager, or was at the time of the date that this was sent, of Hammerfall Gaming and Lord Tyler's community. And basically, he said that he fucked up our reputation within the NutScript community and the Gary's Mod community, and that was their end goal, as well as this picture here, which is basically, as of today, a December 14th, 2018 picture of Lord Tyler continually trying to just basically create game modes out of spite. He has no interest in benefiting the community he owns. He's just a spiteful person, and probably envious at the end of the day. And the significance of this picture, the you're good, the drama one. I'm gonna pull this up. You can see that it is him. That's actually who he is right there, the community manager at the time of that picture being taken. We were quiet about what happened, as I'm gonna discuss up ahead, for about a year, and this shit kind of just snowballed because of us being quiet. Lord Tyler just lied to people about what we did in an attempt to sabotage our reputation within the gaming community, which he did to a slight extent among developers. The players didn't give a shit about the lies that were being spread. They knew that this shit was absurd and they did not listen. But a lot of, I'm going to say, gullible developers listened to them and they're just dribble and bought the shit that Lord Tyler said about us. And this is why I'm making this video, because we were quiet for a year, and to this day, Lord Tyler is proud of the damage he's done to us, and I regret being quiet. So I'm not going to be quiet. I'm going to talk about the damage he's done, and I'm going to talk about how this guy essentially created a hacking script to fuck up our server. He created his own server in an attempt to leech the players off of us. Furthermore, backed up by the hacking client, or I'm sorry, the script that he created to crash our server in an attempt to steal all of our players. And I have 100% borderline undeniable evidence, well, he'll try to deny it, that he did this shit. And I just want the people that are donating to this guy and giving him money for the community he runs to stop, because this guy is horrible. This guy is a horrible, horrible person. He has no regard for the basic lines of respect, and I'm going to stop here because otherwise I could go on all day. So I'm going to tell you what he did, all right? So after he introduced himself 1 year ago, giving his passive tips regarding how to improve the security of our game mode, about a week after that, his initial introduction, we started seeing hackers pop up on our server. And far and few in number, typically in numbers of 1 to 2 in partners, right? And these individuals were able to do really strange and obscure things we never saw before. More specifically, spawn in-game items. They had the ability to spawn miniguns, Gatling lasers, power armor, basically really expensive items on our server. That there's 2 conditions for this. A, you need to be really familiar with NutScript to be able to do this, right? And there's very few people who know how to do that, because the items that were being spawned in were via NutScript. This was running on the NutScript framework, and only I can count the amount of people on my finger that know how to do this kind of shit, right? So I think you know what I'm trying to say with this. And B, you need to know about our game mode. You need to have played on our server enough to be familiar with the rarity of all of our items, the various shit, the value, and basically knowing what the most valuable shit you have to spawn in to be able to fuck up our economy and our server. And there's 2 people, or under these 2 conditions, you'd be able to do this shit. And ironically, Lord Tyler matches both of these conditions, right? So as we saw these people come up more frequently and start to fuck up our server and the economy, we began to get more suspicious, right? We put the pieces together and we weren't stupid and we knew what was going on here, right? Lord Tyler exposed himself early on to this, so we immediately went to him because literally the amount of people who can do this are so far and few. So we went to him, and he basically denied it. The picture I'm pulling up right now is him pretty much denying everything. He played innocent, and he said, I have no idea what you're talking about. This is not me. Anybody with this hacking client can do this. Not me, bro, right? But once again, in order to do this shit, you need to be familiar with NutScript, right? So this was basically just dribble, right? So we just basically just put a smiley face on and made a PR smile, and we're like, okay, and we just went along with it. But we weren't stupid. We knew that he was responsible for this. Me and my development team were very aware that he was responsible for this shit, but we were quiet, right? So the issue persisted. We had more of these guys pop up, and the damage only exponentially grew, right? Where this guy essentially just caused more and more damage. They could even crash the server with the amount of fucking items they could spawn in. And eventually Lord Tyler DM'd me saying, hey, I know how to fix it, right? He DM'd me one day out of the blue and was like, hey, I know how to fix this problem, right? And this picture that I'm now pulling up was me after a conversation I had with him. I was like, hey, all right, so if you know how to fix this, how would we go about getting the fixes implemented, right? I humored him. I had no intention of actually giving him anything because I knew that he was responsible to begin with, right? So I basically just went with it, and I said, okay, so what do we have to do? And he said, you give me a full copy of the snippets of code in question. I return the fixed version. You have Vex whoever took over it, right? Look over it. And I already knew that he had our game mode, right? This guy used ScriptHook to essentially download our server and essentially just take all of the code himself, right? And you know how I knew this? Because that's the only way he could have created the hacks to begin with. That's the only way that he could have created these scripts to fuck up our server to begin with. So I knew he had them. So I said, you have our game mode, do you not? And he said, indeed, but scripthook doesn't touch server-side code, which is code that doesn't appear. There isn't much server-only code, which was a flaw basically a flaw in our game mode at the time, which I will not deny, but I can confirm that. In case you doubt it, but for real, how much were you thinking? And that's a picture of our game mode, basically, the files and everything. He fucking took it without asking permission, without any consent. He just took our fucking game, and he flaunted it early on in a conversation. I will say now that I'm not going to take this picture out of context. I asked him, like, okay, do we need to pay you? Because he was quiet in the conversation after I asked how to fix it. He just didn't say anything, right? He said, I know how to fix it. Didn't respond. And I said, do you want money? Right? So I thought, at this point, this guy, I thought was usually trying to extort me for a fix for hacks that he fucking created. So I just wanted to see what he'd say. I'm never going to give money to somebody like this. And he he asked how much, right? Later on, and I don't have a screenshot of this, he said he was not going to accept any money. He just wanted to see what I was going to offer him just for his own fucking ego boost, right? That was it. He just wanted to boost his own ego, which this guy's I think that's even worse for trying to extort me for money. This guy just wanted to fucking boost his own ego for the sake of just fucking with me. And that's basically what he told me. I'm paraphrasing, obviously, but he said he wasn't going to accept any money anyway. Obviously, we didn't get any fix from him. He was just fucking with us. And this is when it got even worse, right? After this conversation began and the hacking got even worse, we didn't get a fix from him. One day, I was just playing some random video game, right? And then I got a DM from somebody, that the hackers were back, right? And they had crashed the server, right? And at that point, I was like, all right, enough is enough. We're going to go into maintenance mode for like maybe a few hours, and we're just going to like iron out this shit and fix anything that could be causing this, right? We should have done it sooner, right? And we went into maintenance mode, right? But it turns out that they wanted us to do that, right? They were crashing the server over and over in an attempt to get us to go into maintenance mode, because what happened next, right? I'm going to pull up a picture real quick, and this is a comparison, all right? He launched his server, his own Fallout server, Fallout Recreational Game Mode, right? With a borderline exact same name as ours in an attempt to get people to go on his server while ours was down. He launched his server at the exact moment we put ours into maintenance mode, or about like 30 minutes afterwards, right? This was a fucking tactic that he used, right? And I have 100% proof that this is exactly what he wanted to do, right? He put our server into maintenance mode so that he could leech our players and take them. And this is how his Fallout community began. He orchestrated this attack on our server, and he was responsible for the whole thing, okay? Now, here's what we did in response, all right? We were not stupid. We knew he did this, all right? This was not a coincidence. We knew exactly what was happening. There's no way this amount of coincidence could take place. So we immediately took action. We were like, all right, that's it. He was even using our map. He was using the custom names we created. He was using the same names for all of the armor we created. It was literally a borderline copy-paste of our game mode. It was an exact replica borderline, right? He argues to this day that he essentially recreated it, that he recoded everything. I don't know if that's true, but I know that it looks like an exact fucking replica, and that's all I know. Did he recreate it? Maybe he did. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he recoded it, but it was an exact fucking replica, all right? And here's the thing, okay? He was using our add-ons, the ones that we uploaded, all right, for our server that say in the description, do not touch, right? By no means do you have to oblige by that request, but at the end of the day, we understood that this guy was a malicious hacker. He was attempting to steal our community. He was attempting to do various other malicious shit, and based on what I was told, this was not the first time that he's done stuff like this. So here's what happened. We went ahead and decided, you know what, we're going to fight fire with fire. So we went ahead and uploaded a super admin backdoor on our add-ons so that on his server, we had the ability to basically fuck up something. We could basically go in there with super admin and essentially do damage that he's done to us. To this day, I do regret this, but I acknowledge the fact that he deserved this 100%. And I know he deserved this because what I'm about to show you right after I'm done is with absolute certainty that he was responsible for the entire hack script that was created. And this was essentially a coordinated effort on his part. So we went on, we essentially messed with the server a little bit, and we had to shut it down. It got shut down for about 3 days after that, all right? Because this guy was a thief. This guy was a thief. This guy deserved no respect for what he did to us, and that was our thought process at the time. To this day, I think he deserved what he got, and I'm hoping, based on everything I just told you, that he was responsible for. You do too, but I do regret doing this only because of the repercussions that followed and the stigma that developers held toward us. That he really, really advertised to other people that we were the bad guys for backdooring his server, when in truth, he was the evil person, all right? For essentially hacking our server and then launching his own in an attempt to screw us up with a borderline exact same name, which a picture is currently shown of his server name, right? And just crashing, fucking with our community, and doing all of these horrible things. I think that after what we did, it's so menial in comparison to what he did to us. But I digress. After the dust settled and he went off at us in Discord, or me, he DM'd me on Discord going off saying, I wasn't responsible. This wasn't me. You're the bad person. You've started a war, right? In essentially those DMs, right, which I'm showing some on screen. He said some really, really horrible things. I'd said some mean things too, because this guy had it coming. It was basically just tangent garbage. After the dust settled, I did my homework, and I found this. This made its way to me, and this is the undeniable evidence. What you're looking at right now is a thread that was created on a Gary's Mod hack forums, which no longer exists. Okay? Since it no longer exists, I unfortunately cannot get you the name of the website, but it was a private Gary's Mod hacking community where they essentially created hacks for various servers, and their entire goal was just to fuck up servers, basically. That was it. Now, as you can see, it says, Claymore Gaming has recently backdoored another community. This is a bit of revenge for doing so. Down below, I wrote a snippet of code that can spawn in items, as well as mass drop them, which is exactly what was happening on our server. That was exactly what was happening on ours. And he proceeds to say the admins are really retarded. I don't know what to do half of the time. And ironically, he criticized our staff team as well in direct messages a bit earlier on in his introduction. Furthermore, the script includes a tutorial, but here's one you can reference for. And as you can see, a bit more details and garbage. It includes our server IP, and it includes the code that he wrote. Now, this guy's username is Biorisk, right? This guy's username is Biorisk on this hack forum. Now, one could easily say that, well, this is Biorisk. This isn't Lord Tyler. So I don't know what you're trying to say. For all you know, this could be, the different person that Lord Tyler was talking about, right? This could be the different person. Well, this picture I'm about to pull up as well is a chat log that he posted on the 28th of 2018, the 4th of the month. And this was an advertisement within the NutScript community Discord. And it's created, and it says, consider using my Dark RP style job creator. It's much simpler to make jobs with. And this was just an advertisement, right? For his own shit he made. If you look right there at the username under the Git, it says Biorisk2. Okay? It says Biorisk2. This guy's GitHub username is Biorisk. I don't think I need to paint the picture any clearer here for anybody, but I think for any reasonable person here to compare and contrast that a hack forum username, Biorisk, and then Lord Tyler's GitHub username, Biorisk, I think it's pretty fucking clear who did what here, right? Attempting to argue that these are two separate people would be atrociously insane. All of the evidence backed up, and including this, I'm pretty confident, very confidently can say, and make it that it would be reasonable to suggest, very reasonable, that he was responsible for everything. He created this script that could spawn in items, fuck with our server, and do massive damage to the economy and crash it at will. This exact code that was written was the exact problem, and this description is exactly what we had on our server. Lord Tyler has the exact same GitHub username as this account. They have the exact same name. Furthermore, the amount of people that could do this kind of shit are far and few. Okay? Backed up by the fact that he was creating his own Gary's Mod server so that he could use this script to fuck up our server and then launch his own. It is undeniable that he was responsible for all of this. And then after everything was said and done, after all of this fucking mess, right? After all this shit, we stayed quiet, all right? We thought it would be better not to put more wood on the fire and burn this shit. But I've had it, all right? I need to expose this guy for what he did, and I'm doing it a year later, all right? In an attempt to clear our name, because we were the fucking victims of what this guy did, all right? We were the victims of something a horrible, horrible person does. And he gets away with shit like this, all right? People give this guy money to create servers, right? And he does this horrible shit to other communities too. We're just one of the victims that we've had. Like, he's of him, really. This guy has gotten away with so much more worse shit. There's various DDoS associations that are behind this guy. I'm going to pull up a picture right here. His server host discontinued doing business with him because of very, very credible DDoS reports on him, okay? This guy is a horrible person. He has gotten away with the worst of the worst. I regret backdooring this guy only because he created this thread that's also on screen now, basically saying that we're horrible people, that we're the bad guys. And it's full of dribble. It's full of just blatant lies. It says that we DDoS our own players. It says that we're racist. It says that we do all this garbage. It's, to any reasonable person, this is just absurd if you read through it. It's absurd. And 95% of it, if not all of it, is just a lie. I responded to it. I created an account on his forum just so that I could say that this was lies. And at the end of the day, a lot of developers in Gary's Mod bought this garbage. I regret being quiet. I really do. Hopefully, after looking at all of this stuff, looking at all of the evidence I presented, that I've reviewed, the pictures I've showcased, and more importantly, the forum post, the hack forum post, I hope you understand that this guy is a literal menace, that we were a victim of something that a horrible person was responsible for, and that this guy needs to be put down in terms of community running. Nobody should be giving this guy money. He's a horrible, horrible person. I'm hoping that perhaps people within his own community that are unaware of this shit take a look at it and understand what kind of person he truly is. You should never give somebody like this money. Never. I think that's all I have to say regarding this. If I have any more evidence to showcase, all pictures, screenshots, and various stuff will be posted in the description of this video. I appreciate anybody who may have spent the 24 minutes that this video is going to take up listening to this. This was intended for the individuals within his community, my community who were present at the time, as well as any developers within the Gary's Mod community to really listen and understand what happened. If you were unaware of the situation, if you want to help out, I mean, I'm not gonna tell you to go hate on him or anything, because that's not, I by no means is this a hate speech. You know, just spread the word, I suppose. That's all that I can ask. I'm gonna be ending the video here. I will be replying to questions or concerns in the comment section. I'm going to disregard any toxic or maybe discrediting comments that are obviously from Lord Tyler or his band of just loyal goons who know what kind of person he is. I don't want to reply to those people. I want to reply to the people that are genuinely concerned. But anyway, thank you all, and you have a good day.